Hello everyone!
Hello!
Hi. My name is Dominic Flores Douglas, and I've been in Greenfields for the past 10 years. Now, most graduation speeches are a long list of people and suitable thank yous to them. But you'll be pleased to know that my graduation speech will be exactly the same. So I came to England at the age of 8 years old and spoke only a few words of English. When I arrived at Greenfields, my immediate thought was that all white people look the same. So imagine how lost I felt at the age of 8 with a new school, a new country, and worse for the English weather. I had the best first day of school. I was introduced to my class and was given a buddy. His name is Matt Wackley. Now, I didn't exactly know what buddy was. Heck, I didn't even understand a word they were saying. I just smiled and nodded. But do you know the first thing I did to my buddy? I accidentally slammed his fingers in the door. Sorry. But that's when I knew straight away that Greenfields was no ordinary school. You see, no one panicked. Everyone, to my amazement, went quiet. Then the teacher stood up, and as she came walking towards us, I thought, uh-oh. She asked my buddy what had happened. Then she looked at me and smiled. I didn't know what was going on. Then she asked my buddy to put his fingers back in the door again. And then told me to gently have his fingers touch the door again. I found out later that this procedure was called an assist, designed to relieve the pain and speed up recovery from an injury. After a few times of doing this, I was even more confused when everyone started clapping and said, "Well done, Matt." And then they just carried on with their work, as if nothing had happened. And Matt and I have been great friends ever since. But the reason why Greenfields is so special to me is because of the study technology, the extraordinary people here, and the great family feeling. Now, I've been to quite a few graduations, and in almost every speech, it's mentioned that what makes Greenfields special is the great family feeling. But what exactly is this great family feeling? Is it the genuine smile each teacher gives us? Maybe the good proverbial bottom kicking they give us to keep us in line? Miss Emily didn't. Or, in Mr. Murphy's case, the 10 push-ups for being last to reach the green wall. The laughs and jokes you are able to share with teachers, or never having to worry about raising your hand and asking for help. The teachers manage to pick you up when you fall down, after attempting to jump over a tennis net and not quite making it. Or maybe it's the pats on the back when you really need it the most. I can safely say that not only are the staff my so-called teachers, exactly, they are my friends, who are willing to do anything for the students in the school. I can honestly say, no words can explain the gratitude I feel for the teachers. Since Greenfields isn't a big school, I've learned the true value of friendship and how important every individual is in this group. The close brother-like relationships that I've made at the school are so special to me because I feel that I have made friends for life. So thank you Jazz, Ralph, Matt, Jason, Bocha, Angus, Biggie, Johnny, Ashley, Molly, Tilly, and to the Spartan house team. Champions. Graduating as a Greenfieldian is a great honor for me, simply because I've had the chance to meet such great individuals and be part of such a wonderful group. And now I have the technology I need to do almost everything I want to, and these lovely individuals are the people who make up the school. So I would like to thank my lower school teachers, Mrs. Lesher Hudson, Mrs. Gilbert, and Mrs. Stokes. Mrs. Franken Miltenberg, for always putting plasters on my knees when I fall over the tennis court. Mrs. Wackley for somehow finding the time in her busy schedule to find me and give me long hours of spot checking, which really helped, especially during my exams. Miss Emily Dearden for giving me the last push I needed for the last year of my GCSEs. Mrs. Gramman, who never fails to make me smile, and I've got to tell you, you are a truly amazing woman. Mr. Stokes, who was unfortunate enough to be my class tutor for 2 years. I know I was a pain in the backside, but we got through chemistry in the end. Mr. Smith, who molded me into shape in my lower senior years. He's the man who never gives up on any of his students. Mr. Murphy, for guiding me through the past 10 years of sport. Mr. Hudson, you make the worst possible jokes, but you never fail to make me laugh. When I needed help making the hardest decisions, you gave me the greatest advice. And I look up to you, like how Frodo looks up to Gandalf. Not just because you're taller than me, but because everything you say has so much wisdom. Is Mr. Bailey here? Mr. Bailey. Mr. Bailey. Mr. Bailey. Although you were never my teacher, you still helped me whenever I needed it. Miss Bailey, I've got one last question for you. Who are we? To my wonderful and ever so beautiful girlfriend, Zyra. I don't know where you are. Thank you for always being there for me. You've given me all the support anyone could ever ask for. I love you, mahal kita, te quiero, te amo, je t'aime. Oh. Yeah. Family has always been a very important aspect of my life, so I would like to take this opportunity to thank them all. First of all, I would like to thank my two grandmothers, who despite having enough on their shoulders, found time for me. Although I may have disappointed them many times, they never gave up on me and pushed me to do well in everything I did. To my brothers and sister, Richard, Catherine, and Alex. Now, I know people could never have guessed that Alex, Richard, Catherine, and I are not blood siblings. Alex being a tall blonde, Richard being a brunette with a ginger beard, and me, a 5'8" Asian. But I'm very grateful that from the start, you treated me as a full member of the family. As for Maddie, my little sister, although I don't like to admit it, or show it, I love you very much. And I could never stay angry at you. To Alan, my stepfather. I don't know how I could ever start to thank you for everything you've done for me. Sorry. You gave me a home, an education, and you've given me what any little boy needs, a father. Although we don't really look alike, I would like to tell you that in my heart, you are not my stepfather. You are my daddy.
Thank you.
To my grandfather, my hero, my first best friend. He gave me everything he could when I was a kid. I'm living his dream of being in England right now, and I hope he was here to see this. But I know he is looking down on me right now, and Granddad, I hope I've done you proud. Now, the hardest one of them all. To my mother. Sorry? My mother and I didn't exactly have what you would call a normal relationship. I was born and raised in the Philippines, and at the age of 2, my mother went abroad, leaving me with my grandparents, as she knew this was the only way to get me into a good education. I remember asking her, and enough money to support me and my family. I remember asking her for 2 pesos, which is equivalent to 3 pence, to buy a lollipop. She could never afford me that luxury. I still remember the day she left me to go abroad. She gave me a lollipop, told me to be a strong boy, to help my family when I could. She would send back little gifts, and yes, I still have the very first item she sent me. My mum took a risk not many single parents would have taken. She worked hard, knowing that she was doing the best thing for me. Mum, I would like to tell you that you are an extraordinary woman. How you manage to get your spring rolls just right every time. I just don't know how. Mum, you choose to help others rather than helping yourself, and never ask for anything in return. I hope you're happy about the outcome of your risk. I've experienced the best education anyone could have ever had, and I hope you're proud of your little boy. Although I don't tell you this very often, Mum, thank you. Mum, I love you. Now, almost all graduates say something about the beginning of the rest of our life starting today. Well, that may be true to an extent, but it seems most of us are already ahead of the game, as Greenfields has given us the study technology that has already prepared us to face the real world. Thank you.
How do you stop it?
Final graduate with honours.